So now we're going to talk about required work tags. There are 4 work tags that are required on all transactions. And there are other work tags that are required for specific types of transactions depending on what company you're in. But let's take a look at those 4 work tags that are always required on transactions in any company. Those work tags are company, balancing unit, fund, and ledger account. Ledger account is a bit different from company, balancing unit, and fund. That's because you only select ledger account on journals. On operational transactions, it's the spend and revenue category that drive the ledger account through something that's called the account posting rule. This makes the spend and revenue category required so that the system can determine the correct ledger account. In addition to these 4 work tags, there may be other work tags that are required for specific transactions, as I mentioned, and those requirements will vary by company. So a good example of that would be for the OSU physicians, an activity and events and a location are also required on all transactions. There are numerous amount of other work tags that are optional. So back to that list that I just showed you when we first started, any of those work tags can also be selected on transactions. Occasionally, you may have the need for new values, and we'll be showing you how to request those values as we go. So let's look at the differences between balancing and carry forward work tags. Balancing work tags really allow us to produce full balance sheets. These are the 6 balancing work tags that exist in our FDM structure: company, balancing unit, fund, project, gift, and grant. The first 3 that have asterisks are 3 of our required work tags, which we just learned in the prior section. Each of these work tags allow us to produce a full balance sheet. Now Arena is going to show us a managerial balance sheet report, and we can look at some of the transactions to see how these balancing work tags work.
Thank you, Tiffany. On my screen, I have a managerial balance sheet pulled up, which will be primarily used by the university company. The purpose of this report and the items I want to highlight is the difference between a balancing work tag and a work tag that is not. So as we scroll down to the liability section and I expand into the current liabilities, and then one more time into accounts payable hierarchy, I want to focus on accounts payable ledger account. So as I hover over the number, there's a little arrow that shows up, and this allows me to pivot the data directly in Workday. First, I want to pivot it by cost center. As you can see, nothing shows up, and there are no details for the various types of cost centers that were used on this transaction. That is because cost center is not a balancing work tag. And since accounts payable is a balance sheet transaction, we don't expect a cost center to be found here. However, if we pivot the data by a balancing unit, you can see that a calculated value as balancing unit is a balancing work tag, so we expect it to be on the balance sheet transaction, and you can run full balance sheets by these values. Next, Tiffany is going to explain carry forward work tags.
So carry forward work tags allows us to carry forward balances into the next fiscal year. Please keep in mind that all balancing work tags also have the carry forward capability. But that carry forward functionality has also been pulled into additional work tags such as cost center, assignee, program, activities and events, and loan. Each of these work tags allows equity balances to be carried forward into the next year. Arena is now going to show us in a sources and uses report where you will see ending equity for a specific cost center.
Thank you, Tiffany. So here on my screen, I have a sources and uses variance analysis report pulled up. You can see I ran it for engineering organization, and we want to look at the numbers that show up. As I scroll down to the ending equity line, I'm going to pivot the data to show you how the difference between a carry forward work tag and not a carry forward work tag. Again, as I hover by the number, the arrow showed up and I clicked into it. So now I'm going to pivot by area work tag. As you can see, it's blank here. There are no values showing up because area is not a carry forward work tag. However, I'm going to pivot by a cost center, and as Tiffany explained, a cost center is a carry forward work tag. So we are going to see various values here, and the ending equity split by the various cost centers. This is a good information to keep in mind for carry forward work tags to allow you to see balances from prior year as they roll into the next year.